We're live. Welcome, everybody. You remember this thing? Remember that wing. The wing is on there. But we're still gonna look at the wing. But figured I'd show you guys how far we've come so quickly. See this moose job? I can't wait to get the video done on this. But I thought I would show you all Moose Jaw's handiwork. Look at that thing. That's all paint. Well, there's a couple of stickers. This Nismo is a sticker, and a little Nismo here, and the vents. Like, that's about it. He did such a good job. Everything else, like all this, all that, that's all, yeah, he did so good. So you'll see an actual video on this thing soon, the whole project. But the body isn't what makes the project. It's just what makes the project, right? So thank you, Moose Jaw. You did a hell of a job. We may still paint some wheels to match. Like the AI image we used had orange wheels. And I'm like, we may do that. We may. But either way, wild success. Joe does a great job. Cheers to Joe. Cheers to all of you as well. Hopefully, man, what a shit week though. To say so quickly. It's obviously, what was it? Monday night. There was the passing of Ken Block, which we all knew when we talked about it on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, yesterday, I walked into the office and we were in a meeting, and Dan came in and told me that we lost a local friend of ours who was my exact same age, born the exact same year as me, 1983, and he passed yesterday suddenly. And his name was Brandon. He was one of the co-founders of ASD crawlers, which maybe you've heard of out here. They throw some big events. Remember, like when I did the Crawl Masters event, Brandon was one of the founders of that. Lost him suddenly. It was a real bummer. Like I said, my exact same age. That was an absolute shock. This YouTube is a escape for me, hopefully for many of you as well. So we're not going to harp on those things. We're going to have a good night. We're going to, relax, have some fun. That's the thing. If any of you did know Brandon, anything like that, I did put their GoFundMe link in the description. Again, if you knew him, is what it is. Again, we're here to relax, have our escape from the week, start the weekend off in a good way. So we're not going to harp on those things, but cheers to all you guys and everything. So there you go. That's my that on that, and we're gonna move forward. So there we go. But yeah, beyond that, 2023 can just it can go right to oh, what an absolute bummer that has been so far. So let's just have a good night, right? I hear Kitty. Yeah, it's because they are going nuts out there and just terrorizing. I didn't get home until late today, so I'm the calming factor in the house. And I didn't get... No, I'm not. Anyway, there's going to be more on this soon. I'm not trying to keep it out here all night. I just thought I would show you. Oh, look at that front end. He did. And the other thing, I'll show it more in the actual video. It's not even going to show here. But this top, the top that you see here and how it's gray, if you look really close, like I'll show in an actual video, it's got an incredibly fine like weave pattern on it, and it was he used like some screen to give it, so it almost looks like a true carbon type thing. So good. So cool. Cannot wait to finish this thing in the huge box of parts that I've got for it. So thank you, Moose Jaw, again. You guys remember this one? This is one that I really feel like I need to finish. Stabbed the hell out of myself. I've drawn blood. Drawn blood on the live stream already. I cut that so sharp, and then I just jabbed it right into my palm. So, God damn it anyway. The Crocs attack. Can't actually. This is a great segue. The I got new Crocs for Christmas. Like legitimate brand Crocs, because my orange Crocs that I have now are not like, they're not an actual Croc brand. They're a knockoff. But my mother-in-law got me a pair of orange Crocs, and I tried them on, and I was just like, oh, because my other ones are like also like 3 sizes too big, at least like 3 full sizes. Like they're like I wear a 10, and they're like a 12, 4, whatever it is. So you got some legit Crocs, and I'm a new man. I told Nicole, I was like, you're gonna be so mad at me, because these are like, I'm wearing these out places now. She was, oh, Croc Jorah. So you have child-sized feet. Got it. You little geisha. Well played. Well played. The RC Underdog. What's going on, Paul? If you were to put a body on a VS410 chassis that's not from Vanquish, what would it be? Trying to get ideas for my builder's bundle. Paul, it's funny you bring that up. I bought one of the hard body Mojaves recently. Like, I feel like I should have one of those on something. That's one that I was like, a hard body is good. I haven't done one in a while. I don't think it'll be my class 1 or class 2 truck, but I was just like, I could get back into doing another hard body. I've done the Forerunner on a VS410 before. If I was doing another Lexan body, I don't know how this goes back. If I was doing another Lexan body, what's one that I haven't done recently that I would like to do? The MST JP1 is good. The MST FJ style one is also good. Those are fun ones. Yeah, there's a handful of good ones to get. I'm just trying. It's a good question. I don't know why I don't have a spur gear on this. This was just an SCX 10.2 raw builders kit. I must have stolen the spur gear off of this for something else. Huh. So, yeah. This car is very dusty. It's, oh my god, it's Das Croc. Yeah. Moose Jaw and the mods, I will never forgive you guys for this. But it is so dusty. Did I get my speed rig back together? No, I have not. Right there above my head. I mean, it really just needs a new rear wing setup put on there. And of course, I want to like redesign it slightly. So I do want to redo that and get that out there, because man, is that thing fun. So, oh, I missed a super chat before Paul's. My bad. Thank you. From Stretch. I appreciate it. Here's $2 to buy a beer and a Band-Aid. Thank you, Stretch. Much appreciated. You know what? The beer, if you just hold it on there, it's nice and cold, and then that fixes everything. So, do you have to wear Crocs at Folsom Lake to comp? I've never worn Crocs on the rocks. Is that what this says? Crocs with socks rocks. So this doesn't say Crocs on the rocks. So no, you don't have to. Beer fixes everything. Yeah. Anyway, I saw this on the floor the other day. I was like, this thing looks sad. It needs to be finished. And I need this one done. This one, because it's a fun looking little truck. It's so oddball. And once I get it done, I can then do all the upgrades that it needs. It definitely needs shocks. The trans is fine. I don't need to fix that. I could put, but these shocks are just not, like, you just push it down, it just stays there. I wonder if maybe I never even put oil in them. You know what? They're not covered in oil, so I bet I never put any oil in them. That's an auction item for sure. Oh, you bite your tongue. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this to leave. For those that don't know, Matt and I are doing an auction that starts next Wednesday and ends the following Wednesday. It will start and end on the live streams. And the auction, there's 5 auction categories. Possibly, no, there's 6 auction categories, technically. So number 1, a box of, I bought this for a truck I don't have anymore. So I have to find an item that goes in there. Number 2, brought to you by. I think I'm just going to put a truck. I'm going to auction off an entire truck. And Matt, if you're watching, turn the live stream off and then, or just fast forward 10 minutes. I'll wait here. 10 minutes. Go forward. Number 2 is brought to you by, which I think I'm going to put a truck in there, and I'm just going to include a Ridge wallet. Like maybe one of my old ones that has the where I lasered it. No, these are those. Oh, I think it's in my dumpster. One of my prized possessions is this Turks and Jerks made dumpster. And it is seriously one of my prized possessions. I absolutely love it. But in here, I have kept so many things. So it's like a memory box. It's for all of my sentimental things. The Do It For Dale, which was the end plate from the original TRX-6. This is my wristband from the Concorde d'Elegance. But there it is. My original ever Ridge wallet that I lasered my logo on, and then it polished itself off to absolute, like, almost bare aluminum. I think that'll go in there. It's a keepsake dumpster. Buck, my favorite person, Dandy. Thank you for joining. Make sure the Ridge wallet has a credit card left in it. There's some other good stuff in here. There's an ASD patch. Bunch of other good stuff. We don't have to go through all that. But there's my dump. Did I put it back? Or did I leave it out? Where did I just put it? Oh, I did put it back. There you go. So that can go with that truck. The top shelf only gets the good stuff. You see? Number 3 category was brazzers or brazers. And so that's going to have to have something that I fabricated in some way using brazing. Category 4, a box of why do I still have this? Which plenty of options there. And let's see, 5. Oh, okay. Yeah. 5 is I accidentally ordered another one. And then 6 is going to be a 6 is this might make a truck / mystery box. So it's it's everything in there that might make a truck. Might need some other parts still. Who knows? It's hard to say. But the Brazzers auction will be the Class 1 CJ Double Dog Dare. That's a bold suggestion. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't think. I was just like, I should just put the Class 1 in one of these. Like, I should just do it. I should just find one of the categories and put the Class 1 in there. But I then I thought that to myself, and I'm just like, man, I don't think I could. I don't think I can take that risk. Like I just don't think I could do it. Just the out of pocket costs I had on it. I don't think I have the marbles to just let her ride. I don't. The amount of money I had in carbon fiber supplies, titanium. I mean, the raw laser cut titanium pieces that I had made for this were like I don't know, like almost $300. Is it like set a reserve? I could, but Matt and I agreed that our idea for the auction is it starts at $1 and there's no reserve. You just let it go, and whatever happens, happens. So, let's just make it interesting. And I'm for it. On the other stuff, I'm gonna put up trucks in some of those categories, and we just let it ride. It starts at $1, no reserve. Sit back and watch. So the Class 1 I think is a little. I would rather keep it forever rather than sell it for less than what I want. I'll just rather keep it for the long run. The fact that it had, a lot of the stuff, so yeah, and it did so well. Like, I'm like, so yeah, I really don't think I have. I don't have the marbles to just let it ride. So it's even if it's not worth on the open market, it's worth it to me. What Class 1 tires are those? I'm sick of the higher. These are the new Vanquish. The Vanquish Falcon Wild Peak RTs. So, and I know, keep it for Class 1 and put your work into a new Class 3. That's a good. I feel like I have to do another one though. The events are what push me to do like new things. And I get it that I could just do it on a class 3, but I feel like I'm not going to do the same amount on a class 3. So, oh, I don't have it on millimeters. So, zero, we're a little negative. I closed it a little hard. I need to re-zero. I might need to recalibrate my, okay, inches. 0. We down there yet? Nope. So, touching right there. See, I don't know. Brett showed me a photo, and I admittedly agree his were like but mine mounted up on bead locks. If I measure it again, so if I measure it this way with it no weight on it, and I go outside to outside of the corner, I am getting 4.24. But when I go this way on this truck, I'm still getting less than 419. I don't know. It is what it is. Class 1 only costs $10,000. How did he get purple wheels? This is rigged. Yeah. So, but I really want to do another class 1 because I want to do another body. I learned a lot of things that I would do so much differently, both with mold design and how the molds go, and what I think I'm possible of. So I just feel like if I made the effort to do it, then I would do it. It's a terrible way of putting it. It makes zero sense, but still. I hear the carbon fiber resin doesn't do well with blood in it. Well, the blood came later, luckily, so I'll make sure not to mix it again. But this hood caused me much pain and permanent scarring. My fingerprint is permanently changed right here. Well, at this point at least. What's the tolerance on measurements and tire classes? Yeah, it's whatever it says on the sidewall, luckily. Turn that into your class 3. Are you saying turn this into my class 3, Chris? Because if so, like I could possibly just have a heart attack. Yeah. And both wheel measurements together and divided by 2 is close to 419. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but even like in competition, if it didn't have a number on the side, then I think that's how they measure it. It's this way. Either way, it's still good. You guys getting hammered by the weather? Not today. Today was clear, no wind, nothing. So I don't know. I think they say more's coming, and the rivers are high, but really it's like not. The storms haven't been anything. Like it's blown some tree limbs down and stuff like that, and there's gonna be localized little issues, but really it hasn't been a problem for, So it's back tomorrow. Is that the weather? What we're saying? It's back tomorrow. Beals Point on tomorrow despite the weather. I think that Dean officially canceled the event or postponed it, whichever way. I'm pretty sure because it was supposed to be pretty gnarly, and I'm just gonna double check because I should do that just to make sure that I don't need to be there bright and early. But I'm pretty much positive that everything had been canceled. Are we going to get more brass options for the F10? Like what? I mean, anything's possible, but yeah, I think that we officially got that event canceled. So Let's see. Have you ever been to Crawlapalooza? Buck Dandy, I was at the first one, and I made it to, let's see, I made it to the first, I missed one of the first 10 years. Yeah. So, I was at almost all of them until I moved out here. So, I missed one year because I was studying for my PE exam, my professional engineering exam. And like it was not long before I had to go take it, like a couple of weeks. And I was just like, I cannot not study. I studied every weekend for like 14 to 16 hours. So the cat has defeated the noise cancellation. I know. Nicole just yelled at her. Give that cat a toy or something. The problem is the cat is on the cat wheel, the giant hamster wheel that we have. And when she's on it, she's just, rah, rah, just look at me, look at me, look at me. So, yeah. Hear them tires though? The sticky? You probably can't hear anything with the noise cancellation. PE exam is a beast. It absolutely was. What a test. Have you used your PE since, or did you get it for upper level management roles? Well, I got it when I was still in the civil engineering world. So I used it for some time after I got it. Because, I think I used it in practice for like 4 years or 5 years before I actually had to, before I left the civil engineering field and went to do what I do now, which is not civil engineering. Although I played one today, it felt like, when we had a surprise EPA inspection. We were good. We're good. Say, oh my God, I'm going to slap the hell out of that cat, though. Any more on the ground fox build? Yes, I did. I'll grab it next. So, wait, EPA inspection? Why? EPA just comes by every 1 to 3 years and they do a surprise inspection. Since we're a machine shop, you just got to expect it. But that's part of what I do is be ready for that type of stuff and make sure we have documentation and all of the things that go along with it. Manifests, documentation, and this and that. And it's like getting pulled over. Like, I don't think I did anything wrong. I mean, when I get pulled over, I usually know I did something wrong. But this time I was like, I don't think I did anything wrong. But so they came in. We spent an hour or two going through everything in the shop, making sure that everything's good. I'm handling all the things that I need to handle. I have all of the things in place that need to be in place. It's a lot. There's a lot to it. We're in California. That is a thing. And I think even if you're not in California, it's a thing. Your MSDS, not that bad. MSDS is like the minimum. Like you have to have like what kind of chemicals you have on hand, where they're at, and how much quantity in case the first responders ever have to come in, know what to look for. And we have a mop water recycling unit. It's this big thing. So like if they mop the floor, it all has to go into that. It gets cleaned and there's soap. And I have a pH testing machine in it, and I have to have calibration fluid to make sure that my pH testing machine is giving me accurate results. And but I have it all. Have it all. So it's just a lot of yep, here it is, here it is, here it is. Woo, so much fun. Anyway, back to toy trucks. This is the Ground Fox build, and I've got the Proline K10 crawler body on it here, and you can see that I've got the cage that I designed in here, and it's all mounted up, and the body is also mounted on there. This is mounted in there like so, nice and rigid. It'll look good once it's painted. I designed up some body mounts for the front and rear that are like perfectly fit to the body. And I 3D scanned the body, of course, when I did the cage, and I used that to like make my body mounts. Is that what I was trying to say? Gunner, sir, tonight's code, hashtag F the EPA. He was very nice. I had a pleasant meeting. I don't need, I'll still pin this message. Go save yourself some money on Satisfied Jerky. It is EPA approved. But luckily, my day didn't go downhill from there. It was all good. It was all good. But here's the build underneath. Ground Fox, I took an SCX-10-2 Honcho and did basically a direct swap with it. So it's still got all the stock Honcho stuff. Plastic links, the SCX-2 chocks, servos in it. The only thing that I don't have is the linkage for the servo hooked up. So that is the deal. How much to pay off the EPA? He didn't seem like someone who was looking for a bribe. So y'all mop the next time with dirty water? No, so it goes in there. It's a recycler. It's got an aerator, and it goes through 3 filters. So there's a heavy filter, goes through. There's a medium. Then it goes into a tank where it goes through, and there's soap in there, and it goes through and it puts it through a membrane type filter, and then it has a clean water storage at the top that it keeps filling up, and then it runs down into the big tank. And then whenever the dirty gets to a point that it's not able to be maintained at a neutral pH, then it has to get pumped out and recycled. There you go. So, thought it would have a LCG. Thoughts? Did my build with Phoenix Kit? This is just stock parts. I mean, it does sit a little high, but it's, I mean, it depending how you set your shocks, it could sit much lower. This is with it just kind of monster trucked up. Yeah, there's no ESC in here. There's no battery, but it the front axle moves a lot more than I thought that it would or should with this setup. And I probably need to adjust links, but I can't necessarily do that with the stock links because of the fixed length. LCG doesn't always mean it's a low chassis. Exactly what Podium just said there. Brazen Brett, whatever you would like to call him tonight. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it. LCG for one, I think is a stupid name. How they refer to it. These buzzwords always get picked up and just go that way, and I'm just like, whatever. People just run with it. I'm like, fine. It's just still a dumb name. But belly draggers. Like, okay. So you can have a really low CG and you can have your chassis way up here if you just put a shit ton of weight in the wheels. Then your center of gravity is still low and your truck just still looks stupid. Yeah, cheater rigs. It's like, terrible names. So, but this is the direction of this one currently. And we'll do some more with this. So hashtag belly dragger. Jesse, God damn it. But I think it'll look good. Especially once we saggy swap. So we should hashtag saggy crawler. What body is that? This is the Proline K10 crawler body. And I put the cage in it. So, which you can find on my website if you would like to download it for $1.99. Look at me go. Sales. Prestige worldwide. At least people aren't doing Flex Friday. That's true. Velocity Addiction, thank you. Tagged you in FG pics on Instagram. Oh, getting the fifth scale done. I'll check it out. You gonna squat that thing? Doesn't sound like the worst idea. Kind of. Does it become pre-runner? Ken Block tribute paint job? I don't know that I could do it justice. So I don't know. I felt there's a couple of trucks that so for probably close to man, it has to be 8+ years now. The Escort that I've got back there, Joe could. That is true. Let me grab it. First, I'm going to tell Nicole to take that thing off, the wheel off, so Sookie will shut up. I had to fire Sookie. So this, you guys remember the Hoonigan video that they did when they built the Escort? It was always one of my favorite cars. I just loved that Escort. And I always wanted to do a crawler that was, it was a cage, but it was styled similar to the Escort, and then just do themes of it, like it, with the hood graphics. And did Matt do the X's and the headlights? Yeah, he did. The X's and the headlights, stuff like that. I always wanted to do that. And Matt built this and painted it, did the whole thing. And then I had bought it from him some time back. It's got the proper rotiform style wheels on there. But yeah, I'm glad I have it now because I'm sure he wouldn't sell it to me anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Josh in love with an Escort. I think T-Pain had a song about that. Aren't those 1552 wheels? Yes. Oh, did I say rotiform? Sorry. Yes. 1552, the Turbo Mac, right? So, yeah, that's what I meant. I just had it in my head wrong with the newer rotiform stuff instead. But yes, that's but this is a cool car. I really like it. I'm glad that I have it. And for what I paid, it's not going anywhere. Matt sold it to me cheap. You're Jeremy Burris. You're done RC. Thank you, sir. If you could have one YouTuber's full-size car as an RC in production, what would it be? Oh, it's a great question. I feel like most of what I watch is on-road stuff, not off-road, surprisingly. So, I immediately think of like that Cletus's El Camino, the mullet. I like El Caminos anyway. That's I feel like that. I mean, that's like my gut reaction is that car. But I would want it, and I'd want it to scale. I'd want it with the proper chassis and a solid rear axle, with the parallel 4-link and a pan. Like, I'd want that whole thing. Gunner, second code for tonight. Josh is in love with an Escort. That's excellent, Gunner. Jared Dow, thank you. Thanks again. Thanks for answering my questions. No problem. Thanks for watching. Is that Escort HPI? Nope, it is a Tamiya It is one of the T's. TA, TT, T something. That's a TA, right? Someone someone tell me which one that it is. Um, it comes as a kit. And this body, I think this body came pre-painted white. And Matt, yeah. I think it was pre-painted white and blue, and Matt repainted it. It's an MF01X. Really? Thank you, Alex. But yeah, the other Motor Trend's muscle truck, that one was pretty good. I liked that one. If I was going to do a Motor Trend car, I you know, I would go more out there, and I'd go like Stubby Bob, something stupid like that. I think that would be interesting. The Morvair would be cool. That one's pretty cool. I like that one. I like Matt's off-road recovery. It's not like my top favorite, but I think it's. I would rather have the little gold nugget thing rather than like the Morvair or the new big one. So stretch. Thank you again. Like El Camino, tried doing an Aussie Ute crawler. I could see that. I could see that. St- let's see. Truly the best person on YouTube is Guy Martin's Honda E. Since Alex is saying it, I have immediate concerns of the validity of that statement. The Maserati. That would be a great. That would be a. I see exactly what you're talking about there. The Maserati. Yeah. Hey, Stubby Bomb doesn't sound stupid. I mean, it doesn't sound stupid, but man, is it a. It is a. It would be a worthless RC. It would be like one of the Wild Willies. Just bap, bap. So, the Demo Ranch Busy Moto's Odyssey van. Oh my God, that Busy Moto. He's an interesting personality. How can we make it a 3-wheel RC? I definitely need to do. I definitely need to build my own. I think it's time to build the off-road dancing rider, like the 5th scale off-road dancing rider using the Clodbuster axles from so far back that Evan Moore sent me way back 2 years ago at least. Yeah, Copperhead. What's the Copperhead on YouTube? The only Copperhead I remember was the one that Stacy David did back on like the early days, like way back in the days of truck. Was that Trucks or Truckin'? What was that show called back before it was Spike TV? It was like TBS Power Block or something like that. What was it called? Someone remember? Casey Crawler, thank you. Happy F Day. Any thoughts on Pitbull Chronic shocks? Not a bad shock, but it didn't have as much. They don't have as much throw for the length, I think is what I remembered. Stacy David did. It's on YouTube Gears. Yes. Did I say Stacy David? Did I get that right? I think I did. Truckin' or truck? It was called Trucks. Yeah, that was like Trucks and now Gears. I haven't seen him in a long time, but yeah, that was my like formative years of like car stuff back then. I loved those shows, man. That was like my watching that stuff on whatever it was, Saturday or Sunday. Oh, that was the best. And then once they like reformatted it with Spike and had different hosts, it took me a long time before I was just like like I paid way more attention to Extreme 4x4. I was much more skeptical of it back then. I was just like, I like this, but it took me a while to warm up to Ian and Jesse on that show. Courtney Hanson as the host. Yeah, I mean, I liked Courtney Hanson. But Ian and Jesse, like, it took me a while to warm up to them, because at first I was just like, this isn't what this was like before. Like, it's just like they changed something. I don't like it. And just sit there and rise. Like, I don't like it. It's different. And, you know, later on, I absolutely, like, I came to really enjoy those shows as well. And yeah, or if, yeah, Jesse Combs. If you guys haven't, that Jesse Combs documentary, which was on, is it on HBO or Netflix? I think it was on HBO. Man, that was that was a really, really good show. Like, told a really good story about Jesse. Like, if you've got it, if you can find it, it's like Fastest Woman or something like that. Man, watch it. Although, FYI, it does, like, the GoPros that were in the car during the incident, they recorded, and it doesn't, nothing's, there's no gruesome content to it, but it's pretty moving. It's pretty, I mean, it'll affect you just to know, like, that's, you know, you can hear the fear and the, whew. It's a, I mean, if you want to bump up your respect for her as she was, like, it'll do it. Ian always commentates for KOH. Yeah, it's there's a KOH commentator, like, not drinking games, but almost drinking games. Like, Miles Hasselquist, he's from Kansas City, or Paola technically, but which is south of Kansas City a little ways. But I knew him back in Kansas City, and, you know, he would go out there to commentate, and Miles is always the, well, all right, we're out here with the, and he would just always say, well, all right, and that's always the thing with him. But Ian has a couple as well, and I can't remember what they are now. I'm sure it'll come up instantly next time I watch it. But yeah, so I'm excited for KOH. Starting to see a lot of the teams that are working on their KOH cars start posting their current, like, they've obviously been thrashing, and they're getting to the points where they're like, oh yeah, we should make some posts to appease sponsors and things like that, because there's some beautiful cars being built right now. It's impressive. It is absolutely impressive. So yeah. Does your cleaning station have an oil separator on it? I don't know which. Oh, do you mean at work? Like, I don't know what you mean. We don't really have a cleaning station like that. Everything we do is pretty, like, we don't do any dirty parts. I met Ian at the Gatlinburg Jeep Invasion 2 years ago. I've met him a couple of times at different places, just kind of like, you know, local stuff here and there. Rooting for local boys at WFO. Are they racing something? I mean, Casey, or sorry, yeah, not Casey. Casey Shear's brother. Why can't I think the Shear? Jason Shear. His new car is being built in Grass Valley right now, and I've seen some photos of it. Oh, and they've posted some stuff of it now, and it's freaking gorgeous as well. Of course, the Gomez brothers out of Grass Valley. I mean, we surveyors just like engineers. I think he must be behind. Surveyors are important too. I do appreciate a good surveyor. Like, there's nothing worse than, like, when you were starting on a new project, when I was in the civil field, and you'd get your data for the start of a new project, and you just had, like, a crappy surveyor, and they're just like, they just, like, mixed all kinds of points that you needed. You're just like, what is this? Or sometimes you'd get a surveyor who was so thorough, they'd do a good job capturing, like, edge of shoulder, edge of travel lane, center line. Like they do all the pavement markings and like, oh, so good. Some surveyors, man, are just so on the money. Josh, do you watch Dakar? I don't actually. I only ever catch highlights from it. I've never followed Dakar. I still have fingers crossed that the Laser Nut car can do better than the last couple. That Laser Nut car, it's like the last couple years, it's been like, oh crap, this car could win. Like it's doing really good. It could, and it broke. Like, damn it. So yeah, yeah, you know. I got to work on Shearer's old crawler. Tiny, way back in the day. What are you bumping in the Jeep in 2023? I don't think I've turned the stereo on in my Jeep in 2023. I drive to work and sometimes I'll play a YouTube video or it's very quiet. So, you know, I and then the other thing is like when I drive home, oftentimes I'm just on the phone from the minute I get in the Jeep until the minute I get home. And then I'm like, whoever I'm talking to, I'm like, all right, I gotta go. And I walk in the house. What's going on, Logan? West Desert Wheeler. I saw that your UC Fab moon buggy just got wrapped up. I found this little piece of carbon fiber the other day, which I remember I needed for mine. So I was like, ooh. So I grabbed that so that I could try and get it. Well, what did I need to do? No, I need to make an adapter plate, don't I? For those that don't remember, I'm running the Deluxe Fab Portal Trans, this tiny little transmission. That's the full transmission. And that's the motor I'm running. This is the HK Hobbies. Which one is this? 1850 kV. So 1850 kV revolver from HK Hobbies. And that's the ESC, also from HK Hobbies. Tiny little guy. But that's the whole little package right there. So sweet little thing. And I've been working on a couple of other things for this. I'll get around to this before too long. I'm just not in a hurry. A little bit here, a little bit there. I'm gonna make sure that it's done like exceptionally right. Like over complicated engineered right. I'm gonna re-engineer a couple of things. The steering on this, the servo is here, and then it's got a bell crank on the axle right there. So it works like that. But with this tiny little transmission sitting in there, it'll basically leave me a full realistic interior space so that I can do this properly. I've got the Ecotech in the back there from Mr. Comma D, and we'll just keep working on this slowly. It won't be done quickly, but it'll be done to excess. So, yeah, you know, again, this is just one that I'm looking forward to getting done at some point. Well, clicked over and waiting. It'll be done eventually. Agreed. Tony Thompson, thank you. Want to thank you and everyone at Vanquish. I got my dream kit in Trucks of Fortune Pro with Dark Earth 105, so it's worth the tongue lashing from the wife. Congratulations, Tony Thompson. Much glad you're happy. You know, who is your pick to win A1 tomorrow night? To win A1 tomorrow night. Why do I not know what that means? I don't know. I don't know what that means, unfortunately. Oh, Supercross. I don't watch Supercross. Yeah, I think it's cool and all, but I don't follow it. And like A1, like the steak sauce, I was like, is there a big competition? No Supercross, I'm out. Yeah, it's not something I've ever followed. I've watched some races here and there, but don't follow it. You know, there you go. So it's almost hammer time. That's my hammer time. King of the Hammers. That is my Super Bowl. What wheels are on that rig? These are Vanquish Method 105s, and they've been Cerakoted. And they've got like an orange and black patina type look to them. They are not my favorite. They came out all right, but I don't know. They're just not my favorite. They're just on there for now. I don't know what I'll do in the long run. Sorry, I just got here. What rig is that? This is a custom cage made by UC Fab to replicate the Jesse Haynes fabrication. Does he call these something? Moon buggy. JHF moon buggy. So, which week is KOH this year? I think it is the last week of January this year. But I have to confirm. What is going to be your final wheel you put on that moon buggy? I don't know. I think I'll have to get closer and figure that out. What will be the final choice on this one? And so that's it's still just up in the air to me. How do you watch KOH, especially if you don't have cable? Well, it's not on cable, so you're in luck there. You can watch it on YouTube, or I do the KOH Premium, which gives you their own live feed, and it has, more shots and action and things like that. January 26th through February 11th. Okay, so yeah, that starts the last week of January and goes through the first couple weeks of the Ultra 4 Racing is where to watch. Ultra 4 Racing, yeah, that's like their website direct, and that's where you can get the premium, which is worth it in my opinion, if you're like super into it. But you can watch it for free on YouTube. Or they also link it on Ultra 4 Racing. So yeah. Is KOH full-size crawling? It is racing / crawling. KOH is it's like a 200 or 300 mile. I think it's around 200 and something miles. And it goes through desert and then through super gnarly rock trails. And I mean, like, legit gnarly stuff. And they're just going as fast as they can to get through the miles to see who can win. Generally, a winner is done in like 3 hour range, but it's an 8 hour window. They have 8 hours to finish because there's only a handful that finish quickly. And then the rest are like racing to try and finish. I think most people don't finish. So I think I'm going to go to RD's place and watch KOH at his watch party. Looking forward to Sheer and Sloss and battling it out. Yeah, I've been to King of the Hammers on the lake bed, and it is worth watching at home. It's because the desert can be brutal at that time of year, I have to say. Coming from someone who did not grow up in the desert or with desert around them, it can be the best of times and the worst of times within 15 minutes. You can be nice and comfortable, and then all of a sudden you are as cold as you've ever been and your face has been sandblasted off. So, yeah. Shannon Campbell was posting up some work on his, or on some new front A-arms for whatever they're building for this year. Man, they looked great. There's just the technology that's going into the new builds for these cars is getting pretty wild. So hot AF with no shade, or absolutely freezing cold with more wind than you've ever seen. It's just see, I found the Vanquish hats to be bigger than standard. Josh must have worn them first. What? My wife got me a hat for Xmas, and I have to say I'm glad y'all carry the XXL size hats. I didn't even know they came in that size. Yes, this is one of the large ones, and if you normally wear flex fit and it's just like this is uncomfortable, then these are great. Yeah, Shannon is building a two-seater car this year because he says he can't see. Can't see anymore. So, oh boy, I just read the jerky code. What happened? Nothing happened. It was we were actually where everything was good. Gunner, just not a fan. Jason Shear posted a story on Instagram of his new car, pulling out of the shop. God, they sound good. Exhaust up the back. So, yeah, that's being built just not far from me. So, in a brand new shop up there. So, moon buggy going away. Oh, I need to put that carbon piece back. I did some work on the Woods Runner this week. I had, since the last video, I really hadn't really touched much of it because we got right into the snow builds. So I started doing some more work, and I started working on the inner fender panel for this side. This was a first test sprint. I need to make another to do like one final adjustment, and it'll I think be pretty good. So that this inner fan will also include the taillight lens. That'll fit there. And what I'll do, come on, it's just press fit in there right now, but it's a very tight fit. Come on. There it goes. So this will be the taillight housing. I didn't hollow it out yet because it's not the final piece. I was just doing test fits. But once I do get it done, I'm gonna run a wiring channel in the back, like a trough or whatever, so that I can wire it and run the wiring completely hidden and out of sight on behind the panels. And then these will actually probably get windowed. Like it won't be solid. Those will be hollow through there. And I'll put mesh in. But that will... those will go in there. And then it'll kind of clean up the back. But it still will also have, you'll also be able to see through a little bit. I think it'll be fine. Will California summer heat affect that press fit? Oh, the final pieces will not be made out of just regular 3D printing like this. I don't love, like 3D printing I think is awesome and it's great and all that, but I don't think it looks very good. Even the Prusa does this looks pretty decent, but to me it still just looks like nice 3D printing, which I think is like, eh. So I will have it all reprinted, but with like an SLS machine, so that it can take the heat and it gives it a very smooth, nice overall finish. I'll just have everything professionally printed and done well that way. And then I think it will look much better. So, and I'm gonna have it done in like a nylon, infused. So I'll feel much better then. What makes Prusament so much better? You just gotta use it. You can just use it, and then you'll be like, aha! It just is nice. I don't know, something about it. So I'm gonna get the inner fenders done for these areas, so we can have that in there. That'll give me my tail lights. I'm gonna leave the center section of the rear open, I think. I think at this point that's where I'm at. We'll see. That could change, but for right now, I don't expect it to. From there, I need to do a door panel. So door panel on each side, and I need to finish the firewall, which will go, up where a firewall would. You can see on the driver's side, it kind of appears like there is one, but that's just because I've redesigned the front inner fenders. Pop this body off. Did I buy the Prusa kit or assembled? Both. I have one that I bought the kit, which is this one, and then I have one that at work that we bought assembled. And if I was doing it all over again, I would buy an assembled one every single time, because that build took a while and I wouldn't want to do it again. So I would buy assembled one every day. So this is the regular VS410 Pro and Ultra inner fender. And it's this little bulge or bump out right there. See right there. That is where the battery tray went previously. But with how this thing sets and everything, and where my ride height is, at full stuff, that tire gets into it. So I took and I redesigned and removed that bump completely, and now it doesn't do that. It actually clears perfectly all the way around. I need to make one more modification to that inner fender and we'll be set there. These, I think that I'm going to do out of carbon fiber. I'm going to make the molds and do those the way that I like to, and do like the carbon in this fashion. So that's my plan there. TGH, Team Garage Hack Concepts. Thank you, sir. How it goes this Friday evening. What have we on the bench? This is the Woods Runner, my favorite truck I own. Hands down favorite truck. I don't even have to think about it. I just know it. VS410 Pro with custom cage on top. It's just my favorite. Josh, are those files for the inner fenders available on your website? Nope, those won't be. The 3D printing, I don't know, is a great way to put those out there. And these were derived directly from the CAD files of the Lexan. So it's basically a modified Vanquish part. So I'm not trying to sell that. Also, the headlight area, this was out further, because this was a full width fender before. And the headlights on the regular one sit there in the center. So I took, and when I modified it, I actually moved that in, since this body has been narrowed 1 inch. Now the headlights are a 1/2 inch closer together. So I was able to move that boss in a little bit as well, make even a little bit more clearance and awesomeness. In the end, this truck is just going to be, I don't know. I think that this is just my favorite truck I've ever owned. Severed lime is the best. It is the best. Oh, mango chainsaw. No, mango chainsaw is the best. Scott Watkins, thank you very much. Got a Phoenix in my Trucks of Fortune Portal version, but very happy. I'm sure you covered this at nauseum, but what is your go-to motor ESC and servo combo? Everything's a little bit different. I do like different combos and different things, you know, like the Portal Moon Buggy. I've got this little transmission outrunner thing, but I would never put that in this. In this, I've got a Hobbywing Fusion. And I really like those for how compact they are. Because in this type of build, I don't have a ton of room. So if I can use that little all-in-one setup, it's great because it's all just right there. I don't have to mount an ESC somewhere or anything like that. It's just super convenient. But I wouldn't run that in something that, you know, I wanted to have like a little bit of wheel speed to hop gaps, which is like what I normally run in my trail trucks. So what I run in most of my normal trail trucks is a Holmes 2700 kV Polar Pro with a Mamba X. I really like the 2700 because I can run 3S or 4S because I do like to go a little crazy sometimes. So it's like, it's kind of all over the place. And then as far as servos go, I've got a ton of different ones. This one is a Reefs Smart 1100. I've never ran it before. It's in here, but I do like the Reefs 888 in my comp truck. Really like it. My Class 1 truck, which I was shown earlier, had the Holmes SHV 500 LP, which is the low profile, and I love that one too. So, you know, I run a lot of different setups and a lot of different trucks for a bunch of reasons. I don't just have one setup that I just at will say this is what I like, you know. But those are a few of the reasons of I like a few of the different setups. So I just don't even like to cover this thing up. I just like it so much better. Um, you know, regular soda is cheaper since those are just glorified. So this actually does have some sugar in it, but typically I drink like bubbly, which has nothing like that. And it's way better and it's better for you. Is Tekin worth it? Tekin is also good. I run in my VS410 Pro, which is my favorite truck that I like go run the most. That has a Tekin RX4 and a Tekin 3100 kV Rock 412. So that you know, that's one of my favorite trucks, and I've had that set up in there since the day we built it. So, have I tried shift servos? Yes, I have. I've got shift servos in a couple of trucks. Let's see. Yeah, we'll grab my Sporty. Hold on. This is my this is from Deluxe Fab, and this is their Asylum Sportsman setup. Sportsman is, or Sporty 2.2S, whatever you want to call it. It's a shafty class. So this is a Capra axle, and then you've got a deluxe chassis in the middle, deluxe transmission, and everything. This is a axial hardline body, and this is a really slick little setup. This is a cool, but this has a Schiff's GT3 servo in it. Danger, Will Rose, danger. So underneath here, you'll see the Schiff's servo right there. Schiff's RC. And again, this is the GT3. Pretty slick little servo. But this little setup in the middle here is the same exact thing as this little guy. And it's just a little tiny compact package in the middle of this super crazy cool robot. Again, Deluxe Fab does a great job with these. It's definitely a different level. You can check out the carbon fiber wheel face, and then if you look behind it, you see those little tungsten slugs which sit way low, and if you see them back there, see how they actually sit like inside of the tire bead even. That's because of how these tires actually assemble to the wheels is wild. So yeah, this is a super cool car that I need to get painted and then go shoot a final video of. We're gonna throw this back on. And then, so this car is very capable. Like, just because I know that it's capable. Trust me. But I also have the Shifts GT3 in this car, which is a Deluxe Fab MOA, or motor on axle. And so you've got a gearbox here and a gearbox here. And you have a motor on each one. So you can independently control the front or rear. And again, it has the same style of wheels. You can see the weights back there, but you can also see it's held by brass in this one rather than 3D printed. So, I mean, like these trucks, you can almost drive them upside down. So, ooh, I'm pushing a kidney stone on a Friday night. Yay me. Bagged F100. Best of luck to you, sir. Godspeed. Yeah, oof. Best of luck. So, but these trucks, I mean, are just next level amazing little machines. So, still need to finish some wiring, obviously, some things like that, but it's hard to not appreciate them. Like, Matt can't, I understand. He just doesn't, he just sees performance, and it's just like it's like the sun. He just can't look right at it. You know, he can't understand it. No scale points for you. Where do I put the driver? Where do I put the driver? So, there's more I've got to get done to this truck still. So 2 ESCs, yes. There's 2 ESCs in here. Can I get, let me see if I can pull out the electronics. Yay, nay. Come on. It's like surgery for people with fat fingers. I mean, I know I don't have anything holding this in. Why can I not? I can't get it out. Anyway, there is, in the middle here, there are 2 ESCs by Holmes Hobbies, the BR Minis, and they're just a board, a wafer board. You have 2 of them. One controls the front, one controls the rear. And you have your receiver and your BEC. And your radio, you select the mixing. But as a benefit, you can turn off the rear motor entirely, and you can use it like a dig. So it holds that and it'll spin the truck around, well, because it's got those rears held. Or you could do the opposite. You can keep the fronts held. So like say you're on an incline, something like, an off-camber deal. You keep the fronts held and you spin the rears a little bit, and it'll actually bring the rear around for you. you know, you can push up against something with the wheels turned and then hit the throttle and it'll spin around, things like that. Or what can be extremely beneficial is most people now are familiar with overdrive in comp or trail trucks now, comp trucks, whatever you want to call it. This has basically infinitely adjustable overdrive on the fly, because on your radio as you're driving, you can adjust the percentage that the rear motor is turned down or turned up. You can turn this thing down to like 30%, 10%, 80%, wherever you want, and it will just spin the rear that much slower than the front, or vice versa. However you want. It's just infinitely adjustable, and it's pretty easy to do. So they're amazingly capable. 2 batteries? Nope, you won one tiny battery here in the center. You run like a 450, 650, 850 milliamp battery. It's very small, but you're only running them on courses that are like 6 minutes long. So you're never running them for too terribly long. And yeah, they're super cool. Perry G, thank you, sir. I'm usually joking around, but just want to say thanks for keeping us all company on Friday nights. Tonight, I'm replacing my well pump before the storm hits. Thanks for joining me as well. And yeah, no problem. I enjoy doing it quite a lot. EPA on a switch. On higher end radios, it's actually called a program mix, or a mixing percentage. It's different than an EPA, because an EPA, say you pull the trigger, and if you had an EPA set at like 40% on this, well, at 10% they'd be doing the same, at 20% the same, 30% the same, 40% the same. But then once you hit 40%, only the front would keep increasing. Where if you have it as a program mix percentage based, if you're at 10% throttle, well, the rear's only at 4%. If you're at 50% throttle, the rear's still at 20%. So it increases at that same ratio. It's pretty simple, and the radios can do it quickly and on the fly. And it's usually you have 3 buttons programmed on the radio. 1 to turn off the front motor, 1 to turn off the rear motor, and then 1 that is your switch to adjust the mixing percentage. It becomes pretty second nature pretty quickly. I did it for a long time, so I still have that muscle memory to it, but it's it's not that bad. You use, what would you call it? Rear dig or front dig. Rear dig is usually, rear dig turns off the front motor. You know, usually called a front dig when you stop the rear and get, it's weird, but whatever. So you don't use rear dig very often. So normally it's front dig and adjusting your mix. Make sense? Yay, nay? Raise your hand if you have any questions. Which class is that again? This is considered 2.2 Pro. This has nothing to do with like when we do scale competitions. These are completely separate like organizations. They have no similar, like they don't use the same rules. They don't have the same people. I say that. Sorca rules are based off of the rules that were written for these trucks, and then they were changed and expanded on to include the things that pertain to them. But most of those rules came from these trucks, which I helped write way back in the day. Am I going to WRCCA Worlds in Portland, Maine this September? Ooh. I've never been to Maine. Nicole would love to go there. Ooh. How is Maine in September? It sounds lovely. Where does the saw blade mount? Wrapped graphics. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. What's the best way to print the Phoenix cage? I downloaded from the site last night. Was going to print upside down, unsupported, but nope. Turn your supports on. Do it upside down with supports on from the bed. So, or turn them on entirely. But either way, you need supports. There you go. Yes, right. Josh writes the rules so he can break them. September 21st to the 24th. Oh, it's at the end of the month. I have a wedding. I literally have a wedding. Same for the cliffhanger. Yes, all the cages, same way. Print them upside down. Use supports. Typically, supports from the bed only will work. Sometimes you should turn that. Maine is killer. September is a great time. I figured it would be. Dang it. Line supports? Yeah, probably line supports, not tree supports. So, but you're already married. Does Nicole know? Josh needs an RC documentary on him. I think that might be a somewhat boring watch. So, how cool is this thing? You can go check out Deluxe Fab. It's worth browsing the site just for some of the cool stuff that's less seen in the scale stuff. Did you show the Moose Job paint job yet? I did, but I'll show it again because a lot of people are here now that weren't then. Oh, I just looked down and I see exactly the car that I'm going to use for the Why Do I Still Have This auction. It has been decided. This is the Moose Job. Josh's documentary. Build, bleed, and run. Crawling cars. Yes. So, Moose Job did a fantastic job. This is almost all paint. Like, other than this Nismo here, like this detail, you know, the couple of these detail stickers like that, that, you know, headlight stuff, like the G2, the Smart, the whole thing there, you know, Smart, that, like, it's all paint and it looks so freaking good. I can't wait to finish this car. And for those that didn't see, I used AI to come up with a paint scheme, and I gave the photo to Moose Jaw, and every time I pick up this freaking car, though, I end up with tire dust all over me. God damn it. It's all over me. So let me find the... So this is the photo that AI came up with. You can see how the words don't make any sense, and there's a wing on a wing in the back, like, but that's the photo that I came up with for inspiration for this thing. And he took that and he did a great job. Like, is that not just the wing is here, but that's the factory wing, and I don't think that I'm going to use it. So I think I'll build a different wing for it. What size driver does that car take? I liked the bottom right rendering. Oh, like on the thing of 4? Yeah, I don't even remember what it was. Carbon fiber wing? Yeah, probably. I think I'm going to do a 3D printed center section that I will wrap with, I'll wrap with carbon fiber and like do an overlay of it and then vacuum bag it so that it gets it as smooth as possible. I'll do an overlay and wet sand it so that I can get the best finish on it that I can. And then I'll do carbon fiber end plates that bolt on, and I'll probably put some sort of receiver or fitting, a threaded rod on the inside of the wing, maybe both for rigidity and just so that it really helps pull the threads in when I put that together. I've been coming up with some ideas, and then mainly it's not because this wing will need it, but because it I want to experiment with it to see if it works well for everything else. Will you be welding an exo cage to protect said paint job? No, I will not be. Instead, the thing is I'm going to try and, I'm not going to see how fast I can make this like ever. Like, I'm not going to try and do 130 miles an hour with it. Obviously, this says smart on it, and it's got a Spectrum logo. Like, it's for a reason. And I wouldn't, like, I'm spoiling a video, but I feel like the people who are in here are likely going to watch the video anyway, so I don't mind spoiling some of it. Like, people who watch live videos, I feel like, usually probably going to watch the videos anyway. So it's worth it to make the live videos worth it, if that makes sense. Just do 88 miles an hour with it. Honestly, Mike J, 88 miles an hour is a realistic, like, a goal that I'm like, yes, that's about where I'd like to be able to be. So yeah. So, all right, we're two beverages down. I have one left. You say that now. Next thing we know, you're on your way to Salt Flats with a goal of 180. The if so, like, I would use the electronics that I've got in the Limitless over there, because that's got the electronics that are capable of doing real, like that car should be able to do 130 or 140 miles an hour. This one, I'm not putting those type of electronics in it. Like, the motor that's going in this is roughly a similar motor to what's in it now. But this was released pre-Smart or pre-anything Spectrum. Like, this still had a Tactic radio. So, yeah. No, I got the 88 miles an hour reference. I'm aware. It's not that special of a reference that it needed, like, oh, good job on your reference, Mike. Like, I get it. Parachute body. Yeah, it is a big body like that. I am going to do a couple of things. I am going to create I'm going to take, it came with a new front splitter, but I'm going to make a carbon fiber one that's a little bit longer. And I'm also thinking that I should find the extended sides here. Those, try and keep some of the air out of it. I think there's a handful of things that I should be getting, and I'll order whatever I need to order. I think that, and I should probably do that like now, because I want to be able to try and shoot this video in the next couple of weeks, or the first video even, like, this week. Mike J has been banned. So yes, elongate the wheel opening slightly to give it that tension. What does that mean? I don't know. Let's see. Any headlights or brake lights planned for that? Probably not. No, I don't think so. Not at this point, at least. If any lights at all, it'll be underglow. Vent the wheel wells. I guess I could, like, vent here, like where the vent would be. And even in the back corner of the body, if I really wanted to. Put a sound kit in it. Fighting words. Carbon fiber diffuser. The stock diffuser, I think, is plenty reasonable. I think I'm going to stay with that. Use those fancy 500 foot of lights you got. I got 16.4 feet of it. Thank you. And maybe. I did get some work done on the Ecto this week as well. I've got, these are temporary bolts because I need some short 4mm set screws. But why did he get banned? It was a joke. He didn't actually get banned. Mike J put that himself. So I made a front body mount for the TGH Titan Ecto chassis, and it goes between the shock towers there. The like I said, I'm gonna put some 4mm set screws in there that come up just a little bit, and then I'll use the caps that go down onto it. So uses the stock rear body mounts, and Robert's your mother's brother. So that was one more thing crossed off my to-do list, except that I forgot to write down to buy set screws and didn't remember it until I picked it up off the floor. How long do I need? Like 15mm? 15mm M4 set screws for Ecto. The whiteboard on the desk is a nice touch. Is the hot RC race video ever? Yes, I need to get that coming. So it was weird. That video was so many issues coming together. For one, using this radio at all was quite the issue. But second from that, I left my freaking main GoPro, or my GoPro in general, at home that day, which was so stupid. So I got to the event and I'm like, all right, we're just going to film on our phones. And so I was filming on my phone, the intro stuff, things like that, yada, yada, yada. Good, go from there. Get to the event and I tell fam, I'm like, hey, film me while I'm running. And so we're running the course and I'm halfway through the course and I look up and he's filming me vertical. And I was just like, no. I was like, what? And I like said during my run, I go, why? I go, you're filming vertically. And he's just like, oh, am I not supposed to? So he turns it. So I'm going to have to like edit around it. And I don't know. It's just like an absolute cluster. And then we only got to run one course because the rain came and absolutely soaked us. So you're going to get like a 5-minute video out of something like that. This isn't TikTok exactly. God damn it, Michael. But yeah. Someone asked about this bumper. This is the TGH universal bumper. So you put the standoffs on the side of the chassis and it'll, go whatever width. And then the bar just goes between it and you can cut it, shorten it, lengthen it. You run a class 1 width if you want or shorter. And it's super handy. Like if you want a metal bumper, but you have maybe a chassis you can't find, custom bumpers for or things like that, just get this thing from TGH. Like so simple. And it's clean and looks good. And they also have a bunch of accessories that you can pick up for it as well, like D-rings and fair leads and stuff like that. So it's absolutely worth picking up. And even if you're a custom builder and you just want the mounts and you want to build the crossbar however you want, like still worth it. Could run a sway bar through that. It would be a really big sway bar. So it'd be hard to get it necked down to a proper size for a sway bar rod. So I don't know if that would work as well. You'd need a reducer bushing to go through there. So yeah. Would you pick the 2200 kV or 2700 kV Polar Pro for 3S used in my VS410 with Mamba X? It depends on how you normally drive. I like to jump, I'll just bomb down through stuff and I'll jump over gaps and I'll fly up ledges. Like I am super hard on trucks. So I love a 2700 kV and I run it on 4S a lot of times, most of the time, 3S some of the time. But normal people, 2200 kV on 3S is like right in their comfort zone. So my taste is not for everybody. We need running video of the sidecar. Oh, I know. I know. I need to run. And it's ready. I think it's 100% ready to go. Let's the the Ace and Gary mobile, the French made sidecar. I can't remember what the company name was that I got this from, but I think it was like S88R, something weird. Um, but French made, three wheel, weird pattern, right? Um, very phallic looking, as Nicole says. Um, but awesome. The RC underdog, thank you. 2023, 2023, the year of running videos. It could be. I wish that running videos did better. I wish that like more people liked watching running videos. But you put up running videos and they just don't do. Also, my cinematic abilities not as good as like Matt's. So there is some of that. But oh yeah, I do remember that I think that this car could be like stupid fast because I put a 13.5 motor in here and it's just a pinion spur. So it it could be like out of control stupid. I think this needed like a 17.5 or a 21.5 is I think that's where I should have been. I should probably buy a new motor for it. But I have not done that. But I mean, it's pretty simple. And it's called direct drive 21.5. Okay, 21.5 is what I should have went with. That sounds right. 13.5, I understand I made a mistake there. But yeah, I think I paid like upwards of $400 for this car. It was over three. It was three something, something like that. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot for how simple it is and how ridiculous it looks. And Moose Jaw did a great job on the paint. It's got my number 37 and Sabre. um, you know, it's hard to look. This one can be hard to look at. 375, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, little. It was a poor decision, but I don't regret it. I would do it again. I would do it again. And that did not include any of the electronics, of course. I'm going to stay, it's going to stay right next to the Mon 14. I mean, which one? Ooh, that's a that's a pull. That's a pull to have. We're gonna start a poll. Let's see. Which is more is that how that goes normally? Mon 14 or sidecar? There we go. Let's see. Banana. Yeah, it's a pull. A pull for pulls. It's I, I don't know which one to tell you. Like if you hold this one upside down, that's a D, not a P. Yeah, I should. I should have. Should. Mon 14's winning this one. Does the Mon 14 have fenders? Nope. This is how it comes. That is the grill, which I mean, the grill feels like it has to be a joke. Like did they really? It's, uh, oh. So yeah, Mon 14 more like Pen 15. The Mon 14's winning this one hands down. I'm surprised. Mon 14 based on the grill alone. Okay, okay. Is that Mon 14 uncut? Yeah. The Mon 14 can only be one color. Eggplant purple. So I bought two of these bodies, if you don't recall. And when you went on the website, you could buy it in clear like this, or you could buy the hard body version, which came in black molded styrene. So I bought that as well. And I gave that one to Moose Jaw, and he is currently working on that one. I think I had him buy a gold leafing kit so that he could do some lettering for me down the side in some gold leaf. Yeah. Was the black one bigger? I mean, I like slightly looked bigger. So yeah, I don't know though. I still think this one with the twin molded driver figures and this guy like going down with his boots. I bet this is the only time Moose Jaw has painted knee pads. So, what chassis is the clear body for? It's supposed to be like a crawler body. So, like technically any of any of these. And I don't know how that's supposed to work either. So, yeah, I can't even start to give you an answer of what they were going for or what they were. I won't believe I won't believe it till I see it fully mounted to a truck. Yeah, I feel like I need to design a chassis specifically for it. An Ultra 4x4. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What about the rectangles? SCX10 doll. What? Looks more like a bomber body. Wait, what? I don't see where you're coming up with that. Looks better if you run it backwards. I could see that, like a cab forward control. Like I could see it. Almost looks, you know, appropriate that way. Until you see what it's packing in the trunk. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, it's enough dicking around. Where did my... Oh, there it is. The banger car normally sits right above that on a block, and I was like, why is it not there? Um, but yeah, it was on the ground. Another one of the three-wheel collection. So the what was this brand? Camtech. Camtech three-wheelers. Matt's checking in. What's going on, Matt? Just in time for the bangers. Exactly. So much fun, so much more durable than initially anticipated, and an absolute blast for $120 and another moose job. I mean, even after as much use as it got, and it's still in fantastic shape. I might do like some preventative repair to some of these to just get it fixed. Maybe I should just do that now. Why not? Well, at least I'll get it glued so that it holds, and then I can do the repair work that I want to later. Like reinforcing, I should say, not just repair work. Dang, that is dirty. Ew. What year did they outlaw three-wheelers? 87? I don't know. Does somebody know that? Is it a quiz? Because I don't actually know. Let's pour. Do I have accelerator out here? No. Accelerate everything. There we go. Don't worry about it being too dirty or anything. Just pour that super glue right over the dirt. There we go. Nope. That didn't hold. No way. Shocked face. Well, that kind of held. Good. Let's see. My dad always said growing up, good enough for the girls we date. That'll work. CA to fix a styrene bot. Yeah, it'll work just fine, Matt. It's fine. Listen, I've seen you build bodies and them fall apart on course. So now what? Gunner Nissen, thank you, sir. Where's the Camtech race video? I know. I wish that the footage was better. It's so dark that it's really, really hard. Josh, I know where to get a Honda Big Red for $900. I don't want it. I don't want it at all. I can feel Matt wincing. I'll tell you what, this strong as it's ever needed. You'll find it in my next styrene video. And I have MEK in that same drawer. I don't regret it for a second. Not for a second. Or I have the substitute version of whatever they sell now instead of MEK. Yeah. Oh, we got another little crack there from some of those hard impacts in the corners. That's okay. A little more, we'll do a little preventative cleaning with a finger. We'll wipe. Just a finger. Layer in a good amount of CA glue. You're set. A bunch of accelerator makes it stronger. Yeah, like a rock. Just slap some shoe glue on it. He'll be fine. Maybe some duct tape, flex seal, and stuff. Oh, you guys remember when we were on the live stream takeover and what was I? I was using shoe goo for something. I wanted to use shoe goo instead of E6000 for a certain thing. And oh my God, I had never seen so many, like, just absolute strong reactions. Just like, oh my God, you have to use E6000 here instead of brr, brr, brr. Like, I've got them both, and I'm telling you, I like shoe goo in this application better. Oh my, it was absolutely hilarious. Winces audibly. You're welcome, Matt. This now is perfect. It's as strong as could possibly be. And now I can work on the carbon fiber front bumper, of course, or the aluminum splitter that comes out with the protectors. We're going death race style with these next time. I approve of this. The great debate. We're ending that poll. Mon 14 won handily. 65-34. Just, that's hard to believe. Spinning blade hub. Yes, just out. My thing, I would accidentally I'd put one here still, just so that it could like cut up my own wires as they accidentally shifted around inside of the chassis. But this car, still an absolute favorite, and bang for the buck, one of the best purchases I've ever made. Let's see. What else do we got? Yeah, shit laying everywhere, all over the place. Banger for the buck. Let's see. Josh, do you still have a bomber or wraith in your fleet? Yes, I still have the bomber that I built last, that Matt wrecked, that I still have to fix from his poor driving. So I'll get to that. You know, he destroyed the front servo mount, gearing, just all kinds of things that we're gonna have to repair. But sometimes you just have to hand the keys over to someone like that to really test to see how, just like the things you're like you couldn't imagine somebody doing, and then you're like, well, you know what? They always find a way. So we'll get to it. We'll get to it here before too long, I think. Was it the chassis mounted servo kit? No, it was bomber, so not chassis mounted. It was axle mounted, but it was a high altitude performance front, and we pulled a thread on one side. I think I can come up with a different mount, different idea there. If Matt broke, it was his fault. Yeah, what was his fault, or are you saying wasn't his fault? I think it was Matt's fault. I could hear it. I heard him. I was like, heard him driving. I was like, that doesn't sound good. So, whoops. Perry G says, thanks for bringing that back up, Josh. 6 months of trauma therapy down the drain. Hashtag E6000 drama. Any chance Matt could join you in BeamNG tonight? I don't know. I don't know what he is doing. What is... Oh, that was just a different tag. That was a text from it. The... What other cars? That car's just laying around. I did recently pick up the... This is the Sumo L body, which I have my, like... I just... Whoops. I don't hate it. I bought it so I could do a cage for it, obviously. That's why I bought a bunch of these bodies. I'm like, I wonder how this is gonna do. Because it's an interesting width. I feel like I'm gonna compare it to throwing shit around. So, okay, it's actually very similar to the K10. It's a little bit wider in the nose. Not a ton, but it's a little bit wider there, so probably a little bit more clearance issue if you're running a bigger tire, but not as bad as I thought. So, when is the Lloyd cage coming? There was one at the hobby shop when I was there the other day, and I was looking for bodies to buy to scan, and I looked at it and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't buy that thing. But the samurai I'm all for. The long bed style, it's like it actually looks pretty good. So that'll be good. It's got a little bit more cab area too, so the cage will be a little bit better sized. Can we get a sneak peek of some of the trucks you're letting go on the site? No, because the well, for a couple reasons. Some of them are going to go on the eBay listing that's going to start on Wednesday. So no, I can't tell you. Rourke Ponce. Josh, do you need headlights for the Crocs? I feel like that. So, like, I don't know if you were here earlier. I got some new Crocs for Christmas, and they're pretty nice. They're like the right fit, the whole deal. I'm like, ooh, because let me tell you, the Rourke was actually the person who sent me the original orange Crocs that you've seen in many videos now, and they've got a lot of use, but they're big for me. So like they were never like I never would really go anywhere in them. Now with these that are like my size, I feel like they're gonna get worn out. Where's the Flamingo 3-wheeler? Ooh, that's in the garage right now. And I burned up the motor and ESC in that at some point, some time ago, and I've just never repaired it. What wheelbase is it? Which one? I forget. Which wheelbase do you mean of what car? The Sumo L? It's regular 12.3. What Tim said? What did Tim say in here? Um, uh, the car on the bottom shelf. So there's two cars down there. You can't really make out what they are. Can you see? You can see that one. I'm just moving boxes around and cars in here now. It's turning into an absolute disaster. we'll get to that. This is the first one, which also very dusty. And this one also I had painted by Moose Jaw. But I had him do it just box art, like exact box art. So the orange paint, all the stickers, and all the proper places. And it's so cute. It's just such a cute little Tamiya something. This one I actually like. What is the weirdest, strangest RC you own? Oh, I think it's the sidecar. I really do. So, I mean, but this thing is so like, oh, look at that. Look at that little thing. The Jeep, though. Some of you may remember this. This, guess what? Also very dusty. God, it's embarrassing at this point. So, this one was going to be a class 2 at some point, but obviously it turned into just much more of a custom truck. But this is the MST JP1 on a VS410 class 2. It's got a D44 in the front and a portal in the rear. This is the original portal rear that I had on my VS410 Pro. And then I swapped the one on my VS410 Pro for one that was anodized to match. So, but yeah. So, underneath it, oh, it has electronics. Didn't remember that. It's got a Tekin RX4 and a, does that say 3300? Yeah. 3300 kV? Oh, it's a 3300. So it is a Pro 4 HD, or Pro 4, not a Rock 412. Rock 412s come in 3100. The Pro 4s come in 3300. The Pro 4 HD comes in at 3000 or 3500. So, yeah, that's a Pro 4 in there. I forgot. But the cage on this one I really liked. I really liked the style of how this rear end worked out. And I created an interesting body mount on this. Since these tubes go into the back of the cab, I didn't want this to take a bunch of hits over and over and then end up ripping the top of the cab. So I wanted it to be better supported. So instead, you can see these screws across the back there, and they go into a piece that goes across there. And that part sits down onto this piece here on the cage. And that is 3D printed, but it's got a piece of 1/8" steel rod that goes all the way through it. So it's super supported, super rigid. And the purpose of all of that was now, so when this slides over there, slides back into place, goes into position, when the body takes a hit, rather than the body pushing down on these tubes and like starting to rip the body, it transfers the load down into that plate. So that's the theory behind it. Because I've had other bodies where I had the cage just go through, and I've just absolutely destroyed the back of bodies before. So that was my train of thought. Wasn't that the Scale NAS truck? Yes, it was in 2001. That was going to happen in early 2020. Yeah. So is that one going up for one of the auctions. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I would sell this in a public auction because it's got raw portals, a raw portal in the rear and a raw front D44. So I don't like putting raw parts out till, like the just general public. Sometimes, like if it went to somebody I knew, like it'd probably be okay. But as an auction, I don't think that I would. I'll give you $8 for that truck. This is the worst auction ever. 8, 10, 12, 15, 6. You guys are fired. Fix the driver rocker. Oh, no wonder it was. There you go. So yeah, it's it's a cool truck, but fine, fine, I'll take it. It's but yeah, someone was asking about the benefits of a portal rear versus and with only in the rear. The theory, like I've had friends who've done this in the full size world, and the thought is that in the front you can you're steering. You can put the tires where you want the tires generally. So you leave it non-portal. That way you can keep your axle so that, because with a portal axle, say you want a certain ride height of the car. So if you have a portal, that means that that axle is technically up further, but the chassis is not. So you have less travel ability. And in the front of like a full-size car, your travel can be greatly affected because you have things like an engine and drive lines and like everything's in the way in the front, much more so than the rear. So if you run a straight axle up front and you get the ride height, you can have more suspension travel without much of a problem. In the rear though, it just follows where you're going. You don't have the ability to like really aim it as much because, you go somewhere with the front and steer, but then as you keep steering, you're not tracking in the same place. So the rear is like, about where it's going to go, but you don't have the same level of control. So you put a portal back there and you gain the extra clearance. You don't have as much going on in the back, so you can usually go up further, all of those things. So you can oftentimes still get the travel back there since you don't have, in the case of an RC, you don't have a servo and a panhard mount, all of those things. In the back, it's willy-nilly. Do whatever you want. It's a party in the back. But the big thing to overcome is the fact that on this axle and many portals, you have a 2-gear portal. And if you're familiar with a 2-gear system, if the top gear rotates clockwise, the bottom gear will rotate counterclockwise. It reverses it. Well, when you reverse only one axle, that's a problem. So you have to spin this axle the opposite direction somehow. And to achieve that on these cars, we take the third member and we flip it. And that requires some machining and, it's not a ton of work, but it's a little bit of work. It takes you a little bit of time to get that accomplished. So that's what I did. And that's why it's here. But this kind of turned like Jeep Speed looking to me. And I liked that. But I never finished it, which I should have done. But here we are. So, yeah. This is a cool truck. It actually has an interior in it that's not a bomber interior. It's a cut up VS 410 Origin interior. So, this year's Class 2, like my ideas for this year's Class 2. I don't know yet. I don't know. It won't be this. This car would not have been competitive in a Class 2 setting. And I was building in a very different way at that time. So, but man, I thought that this car was still like super cool. I really enjoyed this build, but I never did get around to finishing it. And that motivation has The shelves are an indication of my current feeling on cars. That makes sense? Like these two spots here and here, top tier spots. Those are the two spots where like the most important things. So number one spot right now is right there, and that's where the Woods Runners goes. Number two, I currently moved that Escort in, Ken Block, you know, because of obvious reasons, right? From there, it kind of radiates out. The V-Speed Phoenix, absolutely still one of the things I'm very proud of. So it's in very close proximity. The Power Wagon, that is the family truckster. What's Rock Pirates build? I've been working on that quite a bit recently, but not a ton. So it's a little, but it's still there. The Ripper, the two that we already figured. The Class 1, right? It's been moving down a little bit. The Carnivore, it's still very special, but I don't do anything with it. The Moon Buggy is right there. And then that Jeep is out of sight, but still on the shelves. So it still means something, but it's off the shelves. Out of view up top is the TRX 6, the Go Fast 6. I still really like it, but it's not like in view all the time. This is just one of those trucks that I don't know if I'll I don't know if I'll ever sell it. Like someday, sure, maybe. But not right now. Like it would have to be, and it's not that it cost me much. Like I have some money in this, but not a ton, because Traxxas gave me the TRX 6 for the challenge. They gave us the motor in the ESC, and you know, like I bought tires here and there, and I spent a bunch of money doing the carbon fiber under tray. But really, this was like a couple $100. So, you know, in this car total, with all the parts and everything said and done, like I might out of pocket have like $500 or $600. But it was an absolute riot to build. I loved building it. This was a super fun experiment in carbon fiber. You know, we did the carbon fiber diffuser that actually has like the windowed section that goes upward. You know, that actually goes up. And it's flexy because it's only 0.5 millimeter thick, that portion. But like, this was a cool truck in its own way. Is that yellow sticker new? No, it was on there. It was on there from the beginning that I did this, and one just like it was on the original under tray, which was expanded PVC instead of that. You know, underneath, it's not like anything crazy. It's completely stripped down of all the big inner fenders, and I put the very simple TRX4 Sport shock towers on it. We took the portals off of it, and it's got, you know, so it's straight axled. I do have like machined mounts for the 8S VXL system. I came up with a fan mount that's part of that 8S tray. I had to machine a new servo mount, and we put that great big Traxxas motor in there from, I don't know what project that was, but that's a big ass motor. So it might have been from their from the Max. I can't remember what straight axles are on it. They're the TRX4, TRX6 axles, but they're with the portal remove, like the portal delete kit that SSD sold. I don't think they sell it anymore. So I still have the working differentials in here, which was a big part. That for as far as like high speed stability went, having open diffs was nice versus the V-Speed Phoenix. Those are locked axles because there is not a diff that will fit in those axles. Revo, it could have been out of the Revo. That's a possibility. So, but like for me to sell this truck, like it'd have to be something like that I would just be stupid not to sell it for. Because beyond that, I just like looking at it. Maybe I'd run it again, maybe. But I'll tell you what, it was less. It was less. More money than the class one. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Like, like the class one is like actually stupid. This one would do it. I would do it. If someone offered me like $2,000 for it, I would be like, okay, that would be dumb for me not to take. But I don't know that it's worth that much just because there's not a ton to it other than the machining of the under tray and some of the parting. Yeah. But, you know, it did like what 73 miles an hour or something like that. Like it was fun. And, you know. But the Phoenix, this one was legit fun. Like it was like the engineering I put into this one was much higher level. Same with the fabrication. Where's the other? Where's my other? Oh, there it is. I never did get these on there. I need to. Yeah. These are the carbon fiber sides that should be on there. And I mean, this thing was just so freaking rad. But like, I mean, I got to fix this after the big crash. So, but you know, this thing doing 70, what did this thing do? 74? I mean, and I think it was just stable. 74 was not I think I'd either need more motor or more pinion. I probably just need to repinion it and try. How did you make those carbon fiber sides? So, video, I'm not sure if you've seen, but I have these molds here. The forged carbon. So I 3D print the mold for this, right? And then you lay the forged carbon fiber into it, and then I back it with a regular twilled matting, which, can you see? It looks almost veiny. But there's a regular twilled mat, and then this silicone plug that I poured is what goes into the backside of the mold, and then it all gets clamped down. And you leave it under pressure for 24 hours. And then you pull this guy out, and you're left with this. After some sanding and, you know, a little bit of sanding, some finishing, you get forged carbon side pod. F1 inspired forged carbon. But that was the thought there. And I just need to get the mounts made for these. The backside of these pods, so see they have these these mounts here. Those mounts have a receiver hole in the bottom for an 1/8 inch dowel rod. Oops, or dowel pin, I should say. That is on the side of this car. Oop, see it there? And those mounts that those dowels come out of in the car and in here, on the back side of this mount, before I installed it in this pod, I pressed in rare earth magnets like this. There's 2 in each of them. And I made sure that I found pairs and made sure that the right poles on each one mounted. So they slide over those pins, and then as they get close, the rare earth magnets attract and they hold each other, they hold it into the car. So it allowed me to be able to take these off without too much force, but it kept them in place during speed runs. I need to reprint those same mounts with the proper tolerances to compensate for these carbon fiber versions to be much thinner than the 3D printed version that I've got here. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I still giggle when you pull out the silicone. It's just a mold. In your comp trucks, do you have the hubs wider than the back or on all 350? Generally, the front of my comp trucks are still wider than the rear of my comp trucks. Oftentimes that's because like in the front, I'll run a brake weight and that'll push me a little bit wider. Sometimes I'll run a 225 front with a brake weight to get me to the same 350. But I oftentimes just run the rear slightly narrower than the front. Sorry I'm late. Family stuff. Did I miss anything? I'll just rewatch and make the wife watch it. Perfect. Josh, stop flopping that thing around. At this point, it's a visual aid, and I really need to throw it away. Like, there's no reason to still have these after. I'm not going to make another one, but demonetized. Matt's shake weight. Do you still have the Unimog, or did I miss that in show and tell? I do still have it, and you did miss it. Front XR width with F9 rear. No. I'm usually like within an 1/8 or a 1/4 inch per side up front. So I'm usually not that far different. So why do I still have this on? Oh, you're right. That's a great suggestion. Joker 510714. Thank you, sir. I just tuned in and see you shaking that. I was dumbfounded for a second. Then I seen it was part of a mold. Hi, everyone. I will rewatch too. As YouTube would say, let's rewind, shall we? So, yeah. I'll purchase Adventure Portal's Builder's Kit if you can post one to England. We sell stuff to England all the time. I know it just sucks to have the to pay to get it there. Places on the shelf to make sure he doesn't accidentally put it in the trash. Silicone plugs only. I mean, like... Josh, would a deluxe fab cheeseburger trans work in a rear portal build? Is that the one that has a counter-rotating rear output? If so, then yes. I feel like if you put both of the molds together, it makes it not as bad. Like it makes it look more like a vehicle part. But if you put that, it's funny because like this way, I feel like it's fine. But if you put them this way, it makes it almost worse. Danny's done. That's a party. You could super glue them together. You've you've thought about those molds too much. Nicole was filming when I took them out of the mold, and she was just like, "You can make stuff like that?" I definitely had to mute the audio or whatever she said. I definitely had to mute the audio from the film when I was using it for whatever I was. I was just like, we're not using that audio. I can almost never use the audio when Nicole is filming. Will those be available for $1.99? It seems like when you put them together, it's extra. Not reading all of that. Josh's mystery box of used silicone molds. She just got into your hobby. I am super happy with this build. This one, it did really go well. I would like to get back to it and finish up some of the things that were left hanging, just dangling out there. Um, and I feel like maybe an updated livery. I feel like the white washes out so bad. Um, and I, damaged a couple of the parts anyway. So I feel like a new body, new paint job, new livery would be the kicker for it. I need to fix that, and I want to separate the shock mount from the wing mount and go from there. Use that wing on the GTR, right? I don't think it's big enough, actually. So it needs to be wider, and I think we're gonna go with some. I mean, I'm just amazed at how much the wing affected this car at speed, especially when I turned up the wing to give it a little bit more downforce in the back and removed the windshield. I think that the windshield was actually taking the air off of the rear. So I took that windshield out and kicked that rear wing up another like 10 or 20 degrees, 10 degrees maybe more, for a total of 20. And I just was so solid. That last day when Gunnar and Moose Jaw were there helping, it was incredible. So the other thing I would like to do, I don't know what I had to find out what like the drag racer guys are doing with the RX-8 with data logging. I feel like I'm missing some opportunity there for some cool whatever you want to call it, data, just like being able to figure out where I have more speed to get. Like, am I maxing out? Is amperage like, what are my RPMs at? So yeah. Common dirt oval trick: they cut out the front and rear windows, then deck the cab area to get air moving over the wing. And I did do that. Like, my cab is now, I technically have the seat in the way for style, but it is, there was a flat tray all the way across, and then it went all the way to the back. Wink. Winkwish. Whitewashed, yes. When will the 2.2 Method 105s be available? I don't know about 105s. More 2.2s are coming. I don't know about 105s. Where did you test it? At Folsom State Recreation Area. Or Folsom Lake State Recreation Area? I don't know what they call it. Big ass parking lot there. Yes, he is ignoring us. Who am I ignoring? 2.2 machetes in blue in stock. Yeah, there's and they keep more and more keep coming. Josh, do only Vanquish wheels fit Vanquish trucks? No. I mean, like the portals, they've got a larger, like a beefier stub, and if not all axles necessarily are able to handle that, so it depends there. But like the straight axles are pretty much standard. So you know, some wheels may have like a super small diameter through hole for where the axle is, rather than having the more like hub-centric flange, and that can be an issue, but you can either modify the wheel or modify the hex. It's pretty easy. Why would makers not like the Macy's Ripper knockoff if they planned on building anything 124? Personally, I always wanted a 124 Ripper. I mean, why would you not like it? It's just like, because they're just trying to bank off of the style and work of somebody else. Like, just design something different. It's just shitty of a company like that. But I mean, that's super common for knockoff stuff. Like, that's what they do. You know, if you're just trying to bank off of somebody else's work or creativity. That's the whole thing with knockoffs. So, you know, is what it is. Rear Ding Dong's back. Well, that's cool. Logan's back. There you go. Okay, so question has been at, will there be new 2.2 beadlock rings coming too? New ring, like the previous styles or new styles, things like that. I mean, we're getting back into 2.2s. So more stuff that goes along with 2.2s could follow as well. Hopefully the 2.2 market does prove to be worth it to get back into, and then it's worth it to make new 2.2 styles of rings and inner beadlocks and IFRs and all of that. You know, old styles, new styles, all those things. So hopefully that's the case. You know, it has to make sense to go. My machetes need IFRs for that new ring design. I think that all of the new rings that came on all of those new 2.2s are they are IFR cut. So yeah, there you go. 2.2 tires, 4.75 tall is what I want. I know what you mean. You know, that 475, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can just stretch any 1.9 475 over a 2.2 then, and you're set. So, is the Ripper a patented? Is that what you're saying? Design? No. And it's design patent stuff like that is, with China especially, is basically not something you're ever going to be able to defend. It's just a character thing. You know, when is VP coming out with a 2.2? We already did. Like, they're out now. Oh, do you mean tire? I mean, we have to see if the 2.2 market, like, if people will buy 2.2 wheels again. We'll see. So, I am interested in that new Hyrax. That new Hyrax will be, I went to the hobby shop the other day to see if they had them in stock, and they didn't. So, and they weren't on A-Main yet, so I didn't pick up a set yet. But I probably should soon. Yeah. Anyway, we'll put this truck back now. As much as I like staring at it, it was somewhat to appease my new F1 fandom, so call it. And I'm pretty sure I touched on it in the video, but all of the hardware on the bottom is all titanium as well, because it had to be. Most of the stuff up there is less like. We're putting the Woods Runner back because it's just the one I want to stare at all the time. John Hayes, much appreciated. You have a question or whatever? Appreciate it. Whatever. Thank you very much. What Hyrax are we talking about? Proline released a new 2.2 Hyrax LP. It's a 2.2 tall or 2.2 wheel on a 5.25 inch tall carcass. So not as tall as the regular Hyrax, which are 5.75. These just a little bit smaller. Pretty cool. Where do you get your titanium hardware? That is a great question. question. I bought all of my titanium hardware from RC Four Wheel Drive. They had a ton of it on absolute blowout sale, and I just bought all that they had because it was dirt cheap in comparison, and it was actually pretty decent hardware. And I don't have much of it left. I think. Let's. Oh, I know. I've got it at a bin at work. Um, I have another bin that, like my, like this is how I organize hardware, and like this is my scale hardware bin, and it's the GR8 in 1/64, 440 long, 440 short, and 2 millimeter. So that's GR8, the black and the stainless. But I've got that same type of thing for my titanium hardware, where I've got titanium and aluminum. So aluminum hardware is great for situations where you don't need much strength, especially shear strength. Titanium hardware is very soft. It's really crappy hardware in general. Most of it is made of just absolute shit quality. But it is super light and it will hold stuff together, but you basically get one shot at using it. So if you, once you take it out, if you didn't just get the perfect out, like it can damage the head and you might as well throw it away. So yeah, that's the, so titanium is strong, but twice as heavy as aluminum. People always think titanium's light. It's not, it's, titanium is 2 times heavier than aluminum. Same part to same part, twice as heavy. You can just use less of it for more strength. Like, you know, if you have the same part, the titanium one is going to be much stronger than the aluminum version. So, there you go. John Hayes, thank you. I see your question there. Buy that guy in the warehouse a beer 12-packer lunch. He released a motor plate for me yesterday at 4:26 your time. I spoke with him on the phone when he released it. Sorry, I forgot his name. His name was Brandon, John. And Brandon's one of the design engineers. He's like the guy who designed most of the VS410s. Like he is the main designer. And he was walking into the stock room for something. He was looking at something else and the phone rang. And if we go in there and the shipping guys aren't in there and the phone rings, like we'll answer it and see if we can help with a question. And he told me, he's like, yeah, a guy called and he's just like, you have aluminum standoffs in stock, but I need a motor plate. And you're out. And Brandon like went back there and he's like, there was actually like 2 in the box. He's like, I'm gonna put one in stock if you're ordering right. And he's like, I did. So it was funny. We're a pretty small company in general. So he just came in. He's like, yeah, I had a guy call. So glad you got it. Drop bear _12 to be exact. Thank you for more trucks of fortune. I think that it's done. I think that it is done for now. So which, it was a lot of work. It really was a ton of work. And we just got stuff we've got to get going on. So yeah, I think that is gone for now. But thank you for your Australian donation. What about more Wheels of Fortune? I think for now that is done as well. We made a bunch more while we were like finishing the last of the Trucks of Fortune stuff and put them on a pallet for to use with the bundles that were up there. And I think those are still technically up, but for now I think that's it. Trucks of Freedom for Independence Day. I think so. It was fun, and like maybe by then like we'll be able to be like, okay, let's do this again. What about 1552 wheels? I do love 1552 wheels, and I think 1552 was recently purchased. Can't remember. I don't know. why does it seem that there are more purple than dark earth? Because there was. There was twice as many purple as there was dark earth. The dark earth are way more rare. And actually, I need to give these to Brandon because Brandon took the photo that he used that we used online, and he took a pair home to do that, and I had the other pair to show on this show one night. So I'm like you. I'll bring the other pair so you can have them so you can run a set because I did take a set of purple for myself that I put on the class one. So technically, like that's why. But yeah, there is technically a lot more purple than there are dark earth. It was so like I said, we are a small company and we do read a lot of the stuff like in the fan pages and things like that. Like we see a lot of those posts. And oh my god, when we showed that we were going to put in like some special colors at first, we got posts being like they're probably just going to put one pair in there and everyone's going to be looking, you know, like they're not even. And then they get out there and people are posting their pictures and they're like, they're not even that rare anymore. Like they just did a bunch of them. Like what was the right number for you then? Did you want us to do just the one pair? What is? Can't please them all. I agree. There was one the other day. A guy ordered his Trucks of Fortune and he got it and he got a Pro. And he got some other parts with it, not purple wheels or anything like that, but just like a Pro and the overdrive gears and a servo horn. And he was just like, it was all right. And someone's like, you got an awesome setup. He's like, Pros are a dime a dozen these days. And I'm just like, I can't imagine what would have had to come in this gentleman's box for him to be happy. Like, that stuff really, that's just like, oh my God. That's why Nicole made me that sign that's on my wall. And it says, do what you love and you'll, and then it's scratched out where it says, never work a day in your life. And it says, work super fucking hard all the time with no separation or boundaries, and also take everything extremely personally. Like, yes, that. Mike Bird, thank you, sir. Have some England pounds, feeling left out. Much appreciated, sir. Cheers. I guess I'm easy to please. I was happy with the Phoenix and aluminum axle housings. They were all good deals. Like, and they were all as random as we could make it. And, you know, a couple, like somebody got two of the exact same thing. I'm like, it's because it truly was random and it just happened to work out that way. Like, I know, I get it. I'd be a little bummed at that myself. I totally get it. But it was random. Whatever happened to you live light? Wait, what? Live light? I got a Pro and matte red tanks. I'm still in disbelief. Thank you. Hey, I'm super. Nothing was better than seeing. That was the same thing with the Trucks of Fortune. Like we tried to be like let's make this really like truly fun and let's throw in a good number of like the Pro and Ultra. It'll be fun. People will think it's cool and it'll go out there. And you know, it's just like, how does one get a job at VP? You know, it's luck sometimes. I don't even know. Sometimes we're just like, I need somebody now. Does anybody know anybody right now who can be here tomorrow? I imagine by applying. That's the thing. Like, it's yeah, I don't know. Like, it's very rarely that situation, unless it's like a machinist type thing. If you know Swiss machines, like, because right now I have to program the Swiss machines, and I'm barely qualified. Like, I had to learn how to program Swiss machines, and it's not like programming a mill, stuff like that, or even a regular lathe. It is a wild world of just can't see anything, hope you don't crash a really expensive machine. So, um, did you see my comment on the famous? I said I would pay the shipping to take the crappy Ultra Pro off their hands. I did. When the guy was not happy about getting a Pro, I was like, come on. That's gonna be a no for me. Swoof, you're on bag C. Well, you're getting there. We have been doing this almost 3 hours now, though. So let's. I wanted a Trucks of Fortune. Wife tried to surprise me. She ordered a straight axle Phoenix with Wheels of Fortune the day after Trucks of Fortune ended. Still a great deal. Still a great deal. Blind Guy RC, what's going on? Thanks for checking in. Feels good to build F10 portals. There was a lot of sad sacks and boxes of fortune. VFD and an Origin next project for. Ooh, that is a good one. That's the original Origin with the Origin body, but it's the full SUV cab. Is an underrated body. Still some left. Still some left. How much over 500 for the one in your hand? How much over 500? Like 10x over. And even then, I wouldn't immediately say yes. 5 a.m. in England, man. I don't know that I could take me at 5 a.m. I'd be like, this guy is talking too much. Too much. He needs to, I don't, 5 a.m. It's hard for me to digest anything at 5 a.m. It's like, oh. I had to be to work early today for a phone meeting at 8 a.m. and I was still 2 minutes late. I was like, and honestly, I thought I was gonna be way more late than that because I got in the car and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I was like 10 minutes late leaving. I was just like, I made good time. I made good time getting to work in a Gladiator on city streets the whole way, zero highway. So I'm sometimes a few minutes late for my 8 a.m. start time in my home office. Oh, trust me, there's I will say most days, my alarm goes off on my phone at 6:30 a.m. And there's many times when I am scrolling through some social media action at 8:03, still in bed. $500 and an access card to the cashier's lounge. Oh, he's been giggly since those since those molds vanished, vanquished. The molds are right there. I would like you to see that both of them are present. So you aren't hourly then? That is correct. I am not hourly. I no, I have not been hourly since I graduated college. Except when I was in the engineering field, um, we uh, we had to. Engineering is a weird world. So you're a salary employee, but you have to fill out a time card every week, and you just fill it in yourself. But because what you have to bill your hours to projects. Like I'm working this many hours on this project, this many hours on this project, because every project has a budget that some client agreed upon. Like, I will pay you $2 million to design this interchange. And so they need to make sure, like, okay, $2 million, great. And then you have to, hopefully get, an engineer may bill, like I was billed at maybe $150 an hour or something like that. Now, I obviously do not get paid $150 an hour, but that's considered the multiplier. So if you keep going in there and you've spent that $2 million at that $150 an hour budget, well, it's not done yet. So you have to keep working. And it just means that, like, well, now if you average all my hours, I'm at like $140 an hour or 130 and 120 until it gets done. And that's your multiplier. And if you have a poor multiplier on your job, you're in a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Bad times. Moral of that story was, as an engineer, if you build more than 40 hours a week, which you pretty much had to keep your utilization number where it needed to be, which is a whole corporate rant thing. Anyway, you got paid straight time for any of your overtime. So you got your regular hourly rate for anything over 40. Anyway, 18% profit with a 3x multiplier. Yeah. The EBTB reports at the end of every quarter, and you went through earning before taxes and benefits, taxes and bonuses, taxes and benefits, whatever it is. Same. How long does it take to work? It takes me 40 minutes one way. I'm in that area, 35 to 45, or this morning, 27. Poor multiplier means you get hit by the door. It can, but if it's a big project, it can mean that your project manager gets hit by the door, because it's his job to make sure that everybody. But most engineering firms don't even offer overtime when salaried. You basically just have to work for free. See, civil engineering, that's not the case. Most pay you for that overtime, but just not at time and a half or anything. Because if they don't, another firm will, and you'll just go to that other firm. My firm didn't when I started, but then they're like, everybody else is doing this, and people aren't going to stay here. So we're going to have to pay. So, yeah, there you go. I am 4 miles from my garage to my office parking lot. Oh, that would be nice. I mean, for here, I can be 40 minutes away and 14 miles. So, like, California. And not just California, because I don't really have, like, terrible traffic. But Sacramento specifically has the worst street network. You can't take a freaking highway. The highways go from downtown in this V. And, like, if you live here and you need to get here, it's just city streets. It's garbage. This city is garbage for that. You need a helicopter. That's right. So, it is 8:59, everybody. Structural as well. We get paid straight time out quarterly. Ooh, that's a nice little bump every quarter. Huh. I'm currently a half mile from work. Oh my God. Also depends on traffic, animals, and if there's some sort of See, when I was in college, the big problem was, I'm like, well, you get stuck behind a tractor on the highway. Because from where I live, I grew up in a very small town. And I went to college in a big town. To get there, we had the high road or the highway. The highway was the low road, but we had the high road or the regular highway. And the high road was faster, but you could get stuck behind a tractor. You never know. So you gotta be careful. You have to take these gambles well. So, yeah. I get paid an extra $10 an hour for every hour I put in on a custom project at work. That's interesting. I wonder how, Utah doesn't need any more Californians. I hear that all. So like when Nicole and I travel anywhere, and they're like, "Wow, where are you guys from?" We're both like Kansas City. We're from Kansas City. We're not from Cal. We're from Kansas City. Nice to meet you. Those Californians suck. Immediately, that is. We are both just bam. Where are you from? Where are you from? Kansas City. That is all. I live in Southern Illinois. What I was listening. If I'm not watching like full size drag racing stuff on YouTube, I watch a lot of geography channels on YouTube because that's how interesting I am. And I was listening to a geography channel on one of the cities in the very southernmost tip of Illinois. It's a dying city now, but it was an interesting story. Are the Wraith axles coming back? The AR60 V2s are still in production. Beyond that, nope. They're gone. Geography. It's good to know where you live. I rarely watch stuff on where I live. Build a rancho. I did that like 10 years ago. Not interested in building another one. Yep, Maine sucks. Not worth visiting or moving here. Mapmen? Is that a channel? The guy I was watching, his channel is named Lord Spoda. Pretty entertaining enough. But yeah. Thank you. Did you say it's scary at the shop work sometimes? Is that because of the homeless camps? I don't know. I'm not saying scary. Sketchy is the word. And yeah, I mean, the tales of Roseville Road in Sacramento, let me tell you. The homeless camps are not generally in our area. They're on the south side of Watt Avenue, which is terrible. And then there's some like to the north of us as well. Where we're at, there isn't really many homeless camps. But the stuff that like goes up and down our road, we're just like, how? How is this a thing? I had an oven mitt lady the other day. Just 2 oven mitts on and just doing battle with whoever was, the invisible person in front of her. We were all, Brandon, myself, and Michael Pham, we were on our way to lunch the other day. Or it might have just been Brandon and I, it doesn't really matter. But we're driving and it's like, I turned and walked. It's like, that lady had no pants on. Like, no, nothing. She had a crop top t-shirt. And that was it. I don't even know if she had shoes on. But she was just Daffy Ducking it up. Just Donald Ducking it. Whatever. Who is Daffy Duck? Daffy Duck a person? Donald Duck and Daffy Duck? I don't know. Either way, no pants. Like, I thought it was just like nude color leggings, but nope. Anyway, yes, both ducks. That makes sense. Who is Daffy Duck? Daffy Duck was the Warner Brothers duck. Ah, okay. Daffy Duck is Looney Tunes. Daffy and no, wasn't it? Oh yeah. Okay, yes. Daffy Duck, Looney Tunes, Donald Duck. Yeah. Donald Duck is the one who didn't wear pants, all right? Or did either of them wear pants or clothes? Oh, God. Howard the Duck. Neither wore pants. Daffy was naked. We took a real the Mighty Ducks? The Flying V? Hey, Flying V still works. She was airing that thing out. Thing be thangin'. What XR with axles ever make it can come back? No. No. That stuff. XR axles are long gone. Another axle that is that width? I don't know. Like if anything, I don't know. Who knows? That was a good width. I do agree. Donald Duck wore his sailor shirt and Daffy's naked. Yeah, Donald Duck is the one I was thinking of. Early days of the internet, you remember like that? Yeah. There was a recording of Donald Duck. But it was quite comical. I want to do an Ultimullet build, XR44 front with a capper rear. I never got why they call them the mullet. I was like, I mean, I kind of get it. I was just like, who came up with this term? I always wondered. XR44 front. Actually, I'm not going to say it yet because I might do it on my class 3. It's something different. I did. I remember that recording. It was pretty funny. Let me go get you a towel. I think Bob and Tom put it on. I think that is exactly right. Bob and Tom had a bunch of those recordings back in the day. Did they have like the Peep Delta? Goofy isn't a dog. Wait, what? This whole stream has taken a hard turn south or east or west. I don't really know. But whatever direction it's going is the other direction. Goofy is a dog and his girlfriend is a cow. Goofy is a cow. What? Yeah. Hit the like button if you too have strong opinions on cartoons from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever it is. Inner door skins for the Woods Runner in the future. Yep. I talked about it a little bit because I was working on the rear inner fender here. And from there, we'll continue up. We'll do door skin, firewall, finish up some of that. Josh, is resin or PLA printers better? So resin or FDM is usually the difference between them. Different benefits for each. Resin can do really nice detail, but the parts are generally not that strong. There is like tougher resins and things like that, but in general, they're still not as strong. They can also be heavy because of how they have to print. There's a number of pros and cons to each. FDM printers or FFF printers, depending on who is saying what, but that's like a standard type of printer like this, fused deposition modeling, and they are great for a lot of reasons. They can make parts lighter typically. They can be stronger. They have there's different filament types. There's different resins as well. Resin printers are messy. I don't know. I prefer FDM printers for prototyping stuff, but again, different benefits for each. Have you thought about cutting the doors off of the Lexan body of the Woods Runner? Like, in passing, I've thought about it. Like, it's a possibility. The full-size one that I liked, it ran it both ways. So it ran it sometimes with doors, sometimes without. And I don't know which way that I would like to go. I don't know that I will specifically because of how I designed the battery system in this. I would have to do something a little bit different. So I think that for the most part, I'll probably leave the doors on. Otherwise, with the door off, you can see that the false floor is actually up a decent distance because that's where the battery mount is. You can see the hard mounted XT60 back there, and the battery door, which will open, from underneath. Not with a screw like this, but with a screw probably. So, but because this folds down, the battery goes in from the bottom side and then can get closed up. So that's why I will likely not cut the doors off, because the door line is very low. So I would either have to like high line the door, which would just look weird. You know what I mean? So that's why the doors will likely stay. So, Dirt Burger, thank you very much. Thanks, Josh, and everyone, for all the laughs. Thanks for joining. Magnet set up like the wood Wonder Bread speed. Yeah, I know what you mean, but like this false floor idea that I have here, I think that is my biggest thing. Since I went with that, I feel like I kind of have to stay with the direction I have. Like I still have a ton of depth to in here, so it still looks appropriate, but I don't feel like there's enough there to cut off the doors. So that's my thinking. And I think that it still looks pretty good with the door. I think that the height of the body in general is good. So it's got a pretty realistic sizing to it. Nothing seems that out of scale. Whoops, I just dropped it. There we go. Did I admit? Is that the Woods Runner the same as your Scout 800 Woods Runner template? It's not the same. It's based off of this. It's based off of the style, but in general, this is probably, there's probably not much that's the same. Are those batteries going to be wired parallel or in series? They'll be wired in parallel. So I'll run a 3S, like 1300 milliamp pack, which is this guy here. 3S 1300. I'll run that on each side. Really only need to run it on one side. A 3S 1300 like this will run this truck for a decent length, but I'll have that same system built on each side, which I actually already do. You can see that one is already in there. I just don't have the door set up. So it'll be capable of running it in one side or the other or both. But have you come up with the body mount system for the family truckster? Nope, I haven't. I need to get back to work on that one at some point, but I got a bunch of stuff I got to get done now. Where do you get that lipo? This is just from Genzace or Tattoo batteries. It's a drone pack. So 1300 milliamp, 3S. This is a 75C. I think I have a 95C, the same. So that's the, yeah, just a good size pack that has enough punch, especially since I've got a 2-in-1 in here, and those 2-in-1s don't have crazy powerful ESCs in them. So they're not gonna draw a ton of amperage. And one of these would actually feed that system to its ability. So yeah, that's what I run in my SCX24. A pack this big? That's really big. How much runtime does it give you? I mean, it depends on how you're driving, but a 1300 milliamp pack like this, you'll still get, 30 minutes or so, maybe a little more. I really like my 1400 milliamp Genzace 3S packs, very narrow profile. Yeah, they're kind of all, you can kind of get them anywhere in that range. They work really well. You've possibly said it a million times, but is that cage welded to the chassis rails? If so, can the servo mount be removed or any cross members? It is welded directly to the cage. There is no cross members in the rear other than this. So like there's no plastic cross members in the rear other than the one that I designed that's back there. This tube back here is welded directly through the chassis. So it's brazed right there. The skid plate here for the VFD is actually, it's the top side of the C channel of the rails is cut out. So it's open on the top part. So if you remove the screws that hold the transmission in, you can take the transmission straight out of the top of the chassis, which makes it easier. The front is, it's not in there permanently. You can actually, you can actually get it out of there. And that's because the front of the chassis is, I'm kidding. Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, how are you running that big of a battery in there? The front of the chassis, while it is all welded directly to it, there, past this point here, right at the bottom of the A pillar, none of the front chassis stuff is connected to each other. So you can actually unbolt everything and you can get a little bit of flex out of it, enough to pull it out if you wanted. You don't want to though. I put that in there once and then I'm like, we're set. That's good. Except, you know, when I plan to paint or powder coat, not powder coat, paint this chassis most likely, I would technically need to take it out of there. But I don't know, maybe I just never paint it. Maybe it just stays raw and gives it a patinaed look. All the oil from my hands from just constantly petting this stupid truck will probably weather it in its own way. Scream kitty. Yeah, that was Chief. He was in playful mood. He absolutely just hollers. Hollers. Cerakote. I think I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Cerakote. I've tried it on a number of things and I like it sometimes and I find myself not liking it at others. And on a chassis especially, I don't think I want it. Like powder coat, it makes it too difficult to um, ever do anything with. Once it's flaked, you have to basically just strip everything completely down and that's it. So I don't know. I don't know. Um, Steal it, that would be an option. My normal go-to is metallic gunmetal wheel paint. It's usually pretty durable. It's got a nice like metal flake in it. It's not very thick, so yeah. Um, what's the nitride coating they used for 2FA stuff? I don't know what that is. FFA, two F's and an A, Future Farmers of America. Sorry, 2A, not 2FA. Ah, okay. I was just like, um, nitride coating they used for 2A stuff. I don't know. I mean, I know they use a lot of Cerakote, but two-factor authentication? Yeah. um, I thought, I mean, Cerakote I know is super popular in that world. I don't know about the nitride coating. High temp paints is tough. I use it sometimes. Yeah, that's the other thing with wheel paint. It's usually a pretty durable paint. So that's one of the reasons I do like it. Duracoat is easier to touch up. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I really just like paint. Um, so yeah. So let's see. All right, I think we're 20 minutes over already. So I've had three beverages, two of which being 16.9 fluid ounces, and I have not got up in 3 hours and 20 minutes. So that's pretty good. What about the same fish you did on your carnivore? That would be an option. I just feel like I already did that once. There is others like it, but I don't know. Josh needs to be exactly. So, you know, just paint the front chassis brace servo mount too. Do it black gloss, and you don't. Oh, I would might like. I would never be able to allow myself to do that with a plastic piece. Like, I'll tell you what. To no end, like I cringe when I see people paint like a capper cage or a bomber cage or anything like that. I'm just like, oh, like I can't. Like I can't. I'm like, you're gonna run that once, and it's gonna look like absolute trash. And I'm sure that many of you have done it. And I'm telling you now that I already cringed at it. So even painting that plastic waterfalls, babbling books, dripping faucet. Kentucky sky blue. Oh, what about dyeing the plastic cage? Totally get that. That absolutely go for it. Like that's like the proper way. That's the only way though that I can. I only paint two things: Lexan in my hands when I'm painting Lexan. I usually have like the painted thumb after I'm done because I'm just like, I'll just hold it. And just, that's fine. Painting a plastic cage is one of my most hated things. Yeah. the bush outside of our front door. I'll take and I'll put a piece of cardboard down. Like if I'm in a hurry painting something like in and out of the house and it's cold and I need to like not leave it outside, I put a piece of cardboard on this bush because our HOA comes and like flat tops the bushes really nicely. So I'll put cardboard there and I'll put whatever it is on spray paint. So like the leaves on the bush on the corner are like blue and black and red. Nicole got outside and's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why does our bush have to look like this? I'm like, you know what you signed up for. Dye doesn't work on black cages though. Yeah, that is true. Metallic gunmetal bush. Ooh, that could be a new movie. The landscapers probably think Josh is a tweaker. It's probably not. You're probably not wrong. What is wrong with this guy? Everybody in the neighborhood has green bushes. Josh and Nicole have Technicolor. Punk rock bushes. The problem is it's just like the one corner. It's like, what's up with this bush? Every time people wonder if I'm gone. Black everything. Trimming your bush makes your deck look bigger. Oh my God. It's been a good stream. Needed a good laugh. Been a hell of a week. How has this week only been a week long? I tell you, man. I tell you. Hit the like button before you leave. I would do it too if they gave me the option. But I'm out of here. I talked for 3.5 hours straight. I can feel it in my voice. So, yeah. Have a good weekend, everybody. I missed a super chat. Jeremiah, sorry about that. Why don't you offer the Roswells different colors? All of the incision wheels are only black and clear. Incision wheels like a less expensive line. It stays simplified. Like that's why you only see any incision wheel black and clear as far as aluminum wheels go. There you go. That's exactly it. Have a good time, everybody. Whatever that means to you. Good night.